development of the piece. It was that I realized that that there was actually a sculpture park in Budapest where there are like old Soviet statues all gathered together, and that they are not anymore in Budapest. And I went with my grandma. I went to this sculpture park to see the sculptures, and she. For her, it was really weird to see all the old Soviet monuments in one park. Well, when she was younger, she saw them just on the street every day. It was a part of everyday life, and this I thought it was very interesting of how the things are changing. Actually, it's the same person. She has been walking as a younger person on the same street, but then the sculptures are not there anymore, and the ideology is also gone there. The Soviet presence is not there anymore, so they put it in a park. And then I started to really go into the city and search actually for old relics or Soviet relics or stuff like that, like where has been these sculptures been standing, and what happened to the place now. So. And then I did a residency in Hungary because I'm Hungarian, but I grew up in the Netherlands, and I did a residency in 2019 and in 2020. And then I started to film there, and every time when I was there, I was filming, like trying to search actually the right image or the right spot where a sculpture used to be, and that compare it actually with an archival image. And this was a kind of game, and then through this game it developed that I got to know a lot of information about these sculptures, and then I started to become a tour guide to explain the people about the past, let's say. The piece today I'm presenting is actually a kind of compilation of footage that I found on internet of archival images, where in Budapest, in the city center, communist statues were standing, and I compare the present with the past, let's say. And I'm standing as a tour guide in front of the screen, but because I didn't grow up in Hungary, my Hungarian is a bit. I mean, you hear a big accent and stuff like that. So I'm explaining a history that is not actually mine, and I think it's about that, actually. This is the piece about. The piece is about trying to make kind of a history yours trying to make history yours in a way, to understand. I mean, the information was like the production process was that. So I went to this Memento Park, and I thought I was very. I mean, there are a lot of old communist, like there are a lot of parks in East European countries that have now that have a park with that statue where the old statues are, and in Budapest there was also one. So there actually was the start of the whole process, and then I was just actually going online and searching for old pictures of the statues that I've seen in the park, and then also going in the city. Actually, when you go walk through the city, you really see a lot of old relics or like abandoned corners where there is like an old Soviet statue or something on the wall, you know, like a plaque or something. And so actually it was really like a curiosity. The development was of the piece was a curiosity to find these hidden spots, let's say. And I really like, for instance, there's one boulevard in Budapest, and it's called now Erzsébet körút, but before it was called Lenin Boulevard. And there's a place where you can see there used to be a placard, because there's a new there's a new marmor piece like in the wall. So this kind of things you could really see. Has been changed. It has been really erased, And this kind of stuff I was searching for, and that was actually was a very normal process of like a very easy process of finding all these things just by walking and just being like wandering around actually as well. I mean, it was really funny because actually I realized that in Berlin there is somewhere in Kreuzberg there is a kind of place where there's like a lot of factories, or like a lot of, it's a bit abandoned, or far away from the city center. If I'm correct, it's in Kreuzberg, but I'm not sure. And there is an old Lenin statue still, and it's really displaced out of its normal context, and it's put, and somebody bought this statue and put it in front of, or in their garden of their office. And I thought, this is so funny, and this is so weird. And also during all the period in England where they were toppling all the monuments, this was also like, what do you do with the statues actually, and what has what happened after the change of the regime of the communist era? What happened to these sculptures actually? Besides that, there's another thing that my grandfather used to be part, like, my work is always about my family, my grandparents' past, in relation to the communist era, and the communist era in Hungary. And he was there, my grandfather was at the moment when the Stalin statue was toppled down. And I think that was a very important period in his life. And we also have a little piece of a bronze piece of the statue at home. And this was, as I was a child, always having this bronze piece in my hand, not knowing what it was, but actually it was a bronze piece of the statue of Stalin. And this is actually, all my whole life I carried this knowledge around. So I'm always have been really interested in what happens with statues and how can people, change regime, or have power to break these things down. So